these are the type of multiple choice questions that are going to be on your milestone. So it's not only going to just be like, what is this? It's going to mainly they're going to be like, which is not correct. Who thinks it's A? Raise their hand. B? Yep. B was the incorrect one. What was the lower quartile? Yeah, it was something 0.5. I didn't even write it down. But the only one that wasn't correct, these are all true, was that lower quartile, that Q1. I think when I walked around, you already got that. Cool. Note, now today we're learning about frequency. If I say somebody's, if I say someone's like frequently on their phone, what does that mean? They're on their phone like a lot, right? So what frequency means is how many times that number appears. So when I do this, first you're going to write your list of numbers. So when I write it out, I'm going to write 42 how many times? How many times is it written? Once. How many times is 43 going to be there? Twice. And so sometimes, like on your test, it's going to ask for a list of numbers. You need to write the list of numbers down. So how many times am I going to write 44? 4 times. Does that make sense? And you're putting that all into your L1. Like same thing we just did. But now when we're talking about frequency, it's how many times that number appears. So 45, how many times am I going to write it? 5 times. And so another reason to get this calculator is if all these numbers you have to write out and do all the median, all that 5 minutes. So it might be worth it to get that calculator just so you can put it right into your data. 46 is 4 times. 47 is twice. And 48 is once. So you're putting all that into your calculator. And they want you to write a box plot. So they want a 5-number summary. What is the 5-number summary? What 5 things? What's the first one going to be? Or not the numbers. What are they though? Your minimum is your first one. What's your second one? Q1, median, Q3, max. Beautiful. They go right in a row on your calculator. So see if you can type that in, find each one, and then make your box plot. Alright, what did you get as your min? Kamar.
My min was
40. You're right, 42. Perfect. Connor, what did you get for Q1? 44. Beautiful. Betsy, what did you get for your median? 45. Jasmine, what did you get for your Q3? 46. And then Connor, what did you get for your max? 40. Perfect. Beautiful. We all got that? Then we know that our min or max are dots. So at 42, which is 2 after this, I'm going to put a dot. At 48, right here, I'm going to put a dot. And then I'm putting 3 lines to represent these 3. So I put 1 at 44, 1 at 45, 1 at 46. That's these 3 numbers. And then I draw my box. And then I draw my whiskers. How much is each interval worth? What percent? 25%, right? So quartiles, I guess why they're called quartile 1, quartile 2. Each one is worth 25%, no matter how stretched out it is or not. Cool. So make sure you have that down. Circle how you feel. this is kind of just leading up to what we're doing today. Today we're doing frequency, but we're doing box plots, histograms, and dot plots. They're pretty easy. These were also in your, like when you were in 6th grade, you learned this as well. A lot of people said, hey, I remember this in 6th grade yesterday. So this is coming back. But you're getting your notes out for today that look like this. So you're getting your notes out that looks something like that. And these are just kind of practice problems. We're going to go through a few. And then after that, we're going to go on to Delta Math. I really like the practice on Delta Math, so we're going to do that practice on there, just like we did yesterday. All right. So I'm going to put numbers right here. So we use dot plots to show our frequency. So we display our frequency using dot plots. It's another way we can show our frequency. And the spread of the data, or distribution of the data. And we're going to learn about distribution a little bit more next class. And so when we see this, this is a dot plot, right? So each dot is how frequently we see that number. So like if I'm going to write, here's my table, and so here's 1, 2, 3, I'm going to write each of the numbers down, 4, 5, and 6. So I'm doing the opposite of what I just did. How many times do I see 1? How many dots are on 1? 1. How many dots are on 2? 1. So you just said 1. How many dots are on 3? 3. How many dots are on 4? How many dots are on 5? And how many dots are on 6? Cool. God bless you. So this is talking about how frequent that number is.
Hey, can I ask you a quick question about this correlation causation these ones put on?
Sure. Okay, so histogram is talking about intervals. So histogram is a little different than a bar graph. See how they're close together? See how they're touching? So they're a little bit different. They're closely grouped. With no outliers. We use the mean to show the center of the data, and the standard deviation, which you don't need to worry about in Algebra 1, to show this square. And so, do you guys see how they're close together? They're going to be like intervals, and we'll practice with it in a few minutes. But they're intervals. They're saying like, okay, from this to this, how many people, and they draw a little box to it. And we're going to learn about distribution in a little bit, so just kind of write distribution, and we'll go through it next class on the very good. And that's a standard deviation. So DEVIA. Cool. So we're going to go down to the first example. And so they give us all those numbers, right? And they want us to create a dot plot, because this looks like it could be or it could be a box plot, right? Like what we just did. But this one's a dot plot. So that's showing us frequency. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a little graph, and I'm going to do the number and frequency. What's the smallest number we see here? Is 0 there? What's the smallest number? 4, I think, right? So 4, and then how many 4s are there? 1, 2, that's it. Good. So the frequency would be 2. When I do my dot plot, I would put 4 right here because that's the smallest, and I put 2 dots. Then what's the next number higher than 4 that's on there? 5. And how many 5s is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So how many dots am I going to put on 5? Good. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we go to the next number, 6. How many 6s are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Good. So I'm gonna have 7 dots on 6. Easy enough, guys, right? Get the gist of this. How many 7s are there? There's 8. How many 7s are there?
3.
Good. 1, 2, 3. How many 8s?
2.
How many 9s? 1. That's it. I don't need to go through and do this table every single time. I'm just showing you that they're gonna they'll interchangeably use like the tables like that to show your data, and sometimes they'll list a thing of numbers like this, and this is just a good way to organize it. But if you want to go through and just put the dots and not do this table, that's totally fine. I'm just showing you what we're doing. Cool. And then if I'm gonna find like the mean or the median of it, we're gonna do that next class, but we're gonna be putting it just right into our calculator like we just did. Cool. So I'm gonna have you try an example on your own. So go to the back page. It says example 2. And I want you to try to create a dot plot to that one. So you're doing the exact same thing. You don't need to do the table if you don't want to. But we can see, okay, we start at 0 because 0 is my smallest, and I'm just gonna go up by 1. So, Karan, how many did you have on 0? How many dots? How many dots did you have on 0?
1.
1, perfect. Terry, how many on 1? 0. How many on 2, Keandra? 1. Betsy, how many on 3? 2. Kamari, how many on 4? 1. Jasmine, how many on 5? 5. Angel, how many on 6? 3. Victor, how many on 7?
3.
3. Brandon, how many on 8? 2. Michael, how many on 9? 3. Jordan, how many on 10? You don't know. Steven, how many on 10? I don't know. 1. Tanya, how many on 11? 0. And then Joan, how many on 12? 12 are there in that list. Kamari, how many 12s? Perfect. Everyone got that? Cool. All right, so now we're going to the next part of it. So scroll down and copy down what I have on here. So here are my times. So now when we're doing histograms, we're talking about intervals. So it's no longer just like dots. We're talking about an interval of time. That's because like if there's too many, if I had one for each of those numbers, I would just have a million dots. That wouldn't tell me anything. So I need to figure out, okay, how many people's times were from 18 to 20 minutes? And like 20 means 20.00, not anything above 20. So like in this row, are there any ones below 20? In this column right here. Are there any? Nope. What about the second one? Nope. Third one? Yep, these two, right? 1, 2. So I'm going to put 2 tallies. What about this one?
Yes.
How many? There's 1 and 2, right? So I'm going to put 2 tallies right there. And then the last one? That one. So I have 5 from 18 to 20. So I'm going to go over here. Here's 18 to 20's interval, and I'm going to drag this up to 5. Let me just color it in. You can color it in. That's just me being a little extra. So make sure, I would definitely cross them out so that you don't have to look at them. So like the next one's 20 to 22, so under 22 minutes of the ones we didn't cross out. Are there any in the first row?
No. Wait, under 23?
Under 22.
Oh, 1 second.
Yeah, this one right here, right? So 1. How many in this one?
Two.
1, 2. Don't forget about that top one, right? 3. So I put 1, 2, 3. What about the third one? Nope. Fourth one. Fourth one is the rest of them, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. They're all under 22. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then this one we can see there's 1 and 2. So that means there's 10. So I would drag this guy up to 10. And I'd make a box like this. I'm going to color it in, but just make sure they're connected. And then you just keep doing the same thing. So now we go to 22, 24. How many in this row? So under 24.
Oh,
Yep. 1, 2. In this one? Under 24. Yep, that one and that one. Under 24 here is that one. I'm just doing it for time's sake. And then over here we have that one. So 6 altogether. So I'm going to go to 6 right here. Color it in. Does anyone remember doing these? Probably in middle school a little bit. More bar graphs in middle school, so histograms. Just make sure they're connected because they're intervals. All right, 24 to 26. How many are there? 1, 2, so it's under 26. 3, 4, 5. So I put a 5 right here. What about 26 to 28? So under 28 would be 1, 2, 3. That's it. And then 30, there's only one left, so 31 right there. That's my Instagram. We're going to be able to pull data from this in a little bit, but for right now, I want you guys to see like how to make it. Does that make sense? Okay. So the next one you're going to do on your own. So this is all we're doing, and then once we're done with this, I'll let you know what we're doing after that. But I'm going to give you the intervals just so it's a little bit easier. So here I'm going to give you the intervals. Here's the intervals and the frequency. So this one is 30 to 34. This one's 35 to 39. This one's 40 to 44. This one's 45 to 49. And 50 to 54. Now, sometimes it will look like that where we put a number on each line. For this one, I just want to show you what else it could look like. It could just look like this, 30 to 34 in the first line. 35 to 39 in the second. 40 to 44. So see how I'm just putting them on for each one. 45 to 49. 50. And then this, of course, will be your frequency. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you're doing this one on your own. So you go through it, you just check it off. It's a number between these two. Make sure to cross them out though, so it makes your life a little bit. So the first one, it's in a Unit 8 homework. The first one would be create histograms. So right here, the first thing you do, look up here, even if you're still working, because a lot of people, it's really easy, but it's like complicated kind of direction. So 0 to 4 hours, the frequency is 75.
So everyone should have their Chromebooks and courtesy notes so we can see that you're looking at the screen.
So when I do this, I click on 75 because that's my frequency, and I do it 2 squares worth. That's why you have to kind of do it on the computer and not your device. and then I just label it. How many hours of TV are in the first one? 0 to 4. So right here where it says label, I just click 0 to 4. Done. Then I do the next one. The next one's 75 too. So I click right. Oh, well, don't do that because that deletes it. But you would click right there. 0 to 4. I would click right here, and I'd drag the next one. Make sure it's 2 squares worth. And that one was 5 to 9. So I label it 5 to 9. Then I go the next one, 10 to 14. I could see it's 20. So I go down to 20 right here. Do it 2 squares worth. And I do 10 to 14. And then the last one is 5. So I go right here. Make sure to do 2 squares worth. And it's 15 to 19. And then I submit my answer. So you're doing 5 of those. The other one, actually, you're probably just mostly going to have time for that one. The other one is this one. You can start actually with whichever one you want. This one's just frequency. So like 0 to 1, I can click on the tallies. So like, see how that's 1, 0, 1, 2, 3. It's helping you count. 4, 5. Am I missing any? And I click this tally button. How many numbers are there? Did I highlight? How many numbers did I just highlight? 5. So I click it 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What number is that? 5. And that's all you're doing for this one. Then 2 to 3. I clicked 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I actually missed one at the beginning. So see how I missed one? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. This one's actually 6 because I forgot that guy right there. Does that make sense? And then you're just doing that, and that's your answer. So whichever one you want to start with, there's 5 of these and then 5 of the histogram ones. So it's these 2 right here. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe? Okay, so you're just doing create histogram and create frequency table. So you're working on those 2. Your ticket out the door looks like this. So you're using the same data that you used on the first problem, and you're creating a dot plot and a histogram. So it's the same data you used on this guy. This one. You're using that table. We already wrote out the numbers like that. You're just creating a dot plot and a histogram to that same data. That's your ticket out the door. Does that make sense? Okay, cool. All right, so you guys have around like 17 minutes. So at least finish one of those delta mass right now. So just those 5 problems, pick which one you want to do. And then make sure you do your ticket out the door. Does anyone have any questions? I did videotape